be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice. You will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will turn to joy. When a woman is in labor, she has pain, because her hour has come. But when she is delivered of the child, she no longer remembers the anguish. For joy that a child is born into the world, So you have sorrow now, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take your joy from you. In that day you will ask nothing of me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The liturgical life of the Church follows in grades the life and the story of Jesus Christ. The story of the early Church post Jesus Christ. Right now, we are in a bit of an interesting phase. We are between the Ascension. Christ has risen up to prepare a place for us in his Father's house, and Pentecost, the descent of the Holy Spirit onto the apostles, onto the church, strengthening us in our mission. We are also between that very same ascension and the final second coming, the end of all things, Christ's return to the world. And we profess this in the mystery of faith. Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. So this is an in-between moment for us, and in-between moments are fraught with tension, confusion, despair, excitement and hope. Christ has left us, Christ will return to us. Christ has left us, the Holy Spirit will come. And I want us all to bear in mind that we are in this in-between moment. Ascension, Pentecost, ascension, return. And this time should afford us space to reflect on our lives in the light of this in-between moment. In the first reading, we see the Acts of the Apostles, Paul continuing along his mission. And if we go through the Acts of the Apostles, we will see the birth of the early church, the spread of the gospel, the living out of gospel values, and it should cause us to question ourselves on how we have lived out gospel values. In this in-between moment, this in-between liturgical moment, between the celebration of Christ's rising up into heaven and the descent of the Spirit which emboldened all of us at our confirmation, the Spirit which filled us with knowledge and piety, with grace and strength, we should question how we have lived the gospel values, how we have spread the joy of the gospel to all nations, to all peoples, by what we have said, by our words, but by our actions too, by what we have done and how we have done it. How have I participated in the growth of the church? and in the life of the church. A good thing to meditate on in this in-between moment as we prepare for Pentecost, the celebration of when the Spirit came down. I hope each and every one of us has received the novena, the Pentecost novena, and will be going through it in preparation for that day. Meditate on how we have used, how you have used the gifts and the graces of the Spirit in your life for the work of the church, which is the work of the gospel. The work of the church is always the work of the gospel, should always be at least. So too we should meditate on that final day. In this in-between moment between the ascension and the return of Jesus Christ at the end of time, we should meditate on that final day and how we have made ourselves ready. What will it be like for us? Am I with the sheep? Or am I with the goats? And once more we are drawn to that seminal question of how I have lived the gospel in my life. Have I clothed the naked, fed the hungry, tended to the poor? Will Jesus recognize me in the end? Or will I hear the words, "Truly, truly, I know you not. Depart from me, you sinners, into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth"? In between moments in our lives, in the liturgy, give us time to pause and to reflect. Christ ascended into heaven to prepare a place for us in his Father's house. We are filled with joy and elation. A little despair, a little anxiety. It's how the apostles must have felt. And we look forward to the promised Paraclete, to the promised Spirit, with hope. It's how the apostles must have felt. But as we do these things, we reflect. Now, in the here and now, we reflect. My dear brothers and sisters, let us take this opportunity, these 9 days, 8 days to Pentecost. I've lost track of time. How have I lived the gospel? And where am I going in the end when Jesus returns from his ascension? Amen.